Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet. Before reciting Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto the Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Shri Vyasadeva, the author of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in the classes on Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the Personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Namaha Pankajanabhaya Namaha Pankajamaline Namaha Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangri Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Akinchana Vittaya Nivritta Gunavrittaye Atma Ramaya Shantaya Kevalye Pataye Namaha. Hare Krishna. Since Gauranga Mahaprabhu's appearance in Nityananda Tridashi is coming soon, let's try to memorize this verse. This one verse glorifies the two lords and their wonderful qualities. Ajanulambitau bhujau kanakavadatou sankirtanaika pitarau kamalayatakshav Vishwambarau Dijavarau Yugadharma Palau Vande Jagat Priyakarau Karunavatarau Ajanulambita Bhujau Kanakavadatau Sankirtanaika Pitarau Kamalayatakshav Vishwambara Dijavarau Yugadharma Palau Vande Jagat Priyakarau Karunavatarau. Hare Krishna. So thank you so much, dear Vaishnavas, for joining. We are reading Granth Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 8. And yesterday, on Friday, we completed the last chapter, which is chapter 13, which talks about the future Manus. That means from 7th onwards, or 8th onwards, to be more specific. And this chapter, chapter 14, is entitled The System of the Universal Management. And again, it's a very short chapter, just I believe 11 verses only. But there are purports in this verse, so let's dive deep into this wonderful chapter, chapter 14. We'll start with the summary. This chapter describes the duties allotted to Manu by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All the Manus, as well as their sons, the sages, the demigods, and the Indras, act under the orders of the various incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, referring to Manvantarata. At the end of every Chatur Yuga, consisting of Satya Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Kali Yuga, the sages acting under the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead distribute the Vedic knowledge and thus reinstate eternal religious principles. Manu's duty is to re-establish the system of religion. Manu's sons execute Manu's orders, and thus the entire universe is maintained by Manu and his descendants. The Indras are various rulers of the heavenly planets. Assisted by the demigods, they rule the three worlds. The Supreme Personality of Godhead also appears as incarnations in different yugas. He appears as Sanaka Sanatana, Yagya, Valkya, Dattatreya, and others. Thus, he gives instructions in spiritual knowledge, prescribed duties, principles of mystic yoga, and so on. As Marichi and others, he creates progeny. As the king, he punishes the miscreants, and in the form of time, he annihilates the creation. One may argue if the all-powerful Supreme Personality of Godhead can do anything simply by his will, why has he arranged for so many personalities to manage? How and why he does this cannot be understood by those who are under the clutches of Maya. Hare Krishna. So, new chapter is starting. Basically, the management, the universal management, which is done by Krishna, his incarnations or his devotees, referring to Manus, Manuputras, Rishis, etc. They are very, very qualified, capable beings who have been appointed by that to do that service under the direction of the Lord. That's a very, very important point. Under the direction of the Supreme Lord. So let's go further into this chapter with text number 1. Raise your hand if you would like to read, please. Ashish Mataji, you want to start?
Hare Krishna, Tanvat Pranam to all devotees. Text 1. Sri Rajo Uvacha Manvantareshu Bhagvanyatha Manvadayasvatmine Yasmin Karmani Ye Yena Niyuktas Tadvastvame. Translation by His Divine Grace, B.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Maharaj Parikshit inquired, O most opulent Shukadeva Goswami, please explain to me how Manu and the others in each Manvantara are engaged in their respective duties and by whose order they are so engaged. Hare Krishna. Back to Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. So Raja here refers to Maharaj Parikshit, who is the king, who is inquiring from Srila Shukadeva Goswami in a very, very humble spirit, and in the spirit as mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, Tadvidi Pranipatena Paripreshnena Sevaya Updekshanti Te Jnanam Jnanastattvadarshina. So Bhagavatam also is a series of question answer, where Parikshit Maharaj is asking and Shukadeva Goswami is responding, is asking the questions and responding. Same, there are multiple pairs like Maitre Muni and Vidura, etc. Shaunakadi Rishi and the Sutta Goswami in Naimisharanya. So he is eager to understand under whose order, what are their duties, and under whose direction are they engaged, right? It's an important question. So let's see what the response is of the great Shukadeva Goswami. Would someone like to read? Yes, please.
Attention devotees, downward pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Text 2. Sri Rishi Uvacha Manavo Manu Putrascha Munnascha Mahipate Indra Shura Ganaschaiva Sarve Purusha Shashnaha. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Shukdev Goswami said, the Manus, the sons of Manu, the great sages, the Indras, and all the demigods, O king, are appointed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his various incarnations such as Yagna. Back to Prabhuji. Thanks.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So the rest of the chapter is basically the answer, starting with text number 2. Such as Yagna, incarnations such as Yagna, and Yagna is one of the Manvantara avatars. Anyone remembers which Manu's Manvantara avatar is Yagna? That's a tough question. So Yajna actually is the first one. Swayambhu Manu's reign. Yajna was the Manvantar avatar in the first Manu. Okay, so, and generally, when you have to give examples, we start with the first one and then etc. Such as incarnations such as Yajna. So starting with the first one, etc. So that's another way to kind of remember. It's very, very simple. All of us, well, these are Manus are not ordinary beings. These are like the father of mankind. The word Manushya we have discussed many times. The word man, the word mankind, they're coming from the root word Manu, who is like the father of mankind, Swayambhu Manu, and Brahma being the great grandfather. So they are all working under whom? They are appointed by the Supreme Lord. So they are not like independent demoniac people. So it's a great lesson there that we should also understand that we are just tiny puppets in the hands of the Supreme Lord and his energies. So let's see what else Shukdev Goswami is mentioning. Text 3. Want to read, Sudhir Prabhu?
Yeah, sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, devotees, Dandavat Pranam, all close to Srila Prabhupada. Text number 3. Yegnadhayo ya kata ya paurusyas tanavo nripa manva adhyayo jagadyatram nayante abhi prachoditha. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. O King, I have already described to you various incarnations of the Lord, such as Yagna, the Manus, and others are chosen by these incarnations, under whose directions they conduct the universal affairs. Purport: the Manus execute the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his various incarnations. Thank you, Prabhuji. Back to you. Hare Krishna. Please.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So quite straightforward, similar to the last one. So they are appointed by the Lord and they are working under the direction of the Lord or executing actions under, and their actions are very big, correct? Just imagine their lifespan, billions of years, such a big lifespan, and such big responsibilities. We have a hard time managing a small family in a small home, correct? They are managing the whole universal affairs, where so many lokas are present, such big lifespan is present. So, but they're always executing the orders under the Supreme Lord. That's a key lesson I feel in this lesson, in this text. Arjuna also said, I want to work under your direction. So, to accept authority, to accept shasan of the Supreme Lord, to accept the orders of the Supreme Lord, Karishyasi Vachanam Tvai. That's a good disciple. That should be all of us, because that's how our forefathers were. That's how they are dear to the Lord, because they work under the direction of the Supreme Lord and his incarnation and a bona fide spiritual master. So we can reflect upon this topic. Disciple means to live under discipline. Shishya means to live under shasan. Shasan of whom? Not of one's own mind and senses. They are not executing actions based on their own whims and fantasies. They are under whose direction they conduct the universal affairs. That means they don't act whimsically. They act as per direction. So This comes multiple times in Bhagavatam and multiple times in Bhagavad Gita as well. Okay, let's move on to next verse, text number 4. Yes, Sampada Mataji, want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Text 4. Chatur yugante kalena grastan kruchuti ganan yatha tapasa rasyayo pasyan yato dharmaha sanatanaha. Translation. At the end of every 4 yugas, the great saintly persons, upon seeing that the eternal occupational duties of mankind have been misused, re-establish the principles of religion. Thank you, Prabhuji. Back to you.
Well, there is purport. You want to read the purport as well?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. In this verse, the words dharmaha and sanatanaha are very important. Sanatan means eternal and dharma means occupational duties. From Satya Yuga to Kali Yuga, the principles of religion and occupational duty gradually deteriorate. In Satya Yuga, the religious principles are observed in full without deviation. In Treta Yuga, however, these principles are somewhat neglected and only 3/4 of the religious duties continue. In Dwapar Yuga, only half of the religious principles continue, and in Kali Yuga, only 1/4 of the religious principles which gradually disappear. At the end of Kali Yuga, the principles of religion or the occupational duties of humanity are almost lost. Indeed, in this Kali Yuga, we have passed through only 5,000 years, yet the decline of Sanatan Dharma is very prominent. The duty of saintly persons, therefore, is to take up seriously the cause of Sanatan Dharma and try to re-establish it for the benefit of the entire human. I couldn't read that one. Human society. The Krishna consciousness movement has been started according to this principle, as stated in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 12.3.51. Kale dosa nidhe rajan asti hi eko mahan gunaha kirtanad eva krishnasya mukta sangaha param vrajit. The entire Kali Yuga is full of faults. It is like an unlimited ocean of faults, but the Krishna consciousness movement is very authorized. Therefore, following in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who 500 years ago inaugurated the movement of Sankirtana, Krishna Kirtana, we are trying to introduce this movement according to superior orders all over the world. Now, if the inaugurators of this movement strictly follow the regulative principles and spread this movement for the benefit of all human society, they will certainly usher in a new way of life by reestablishing Sanatan Dharma, the eternal occupational duties of humanity. The eternal occupational duty of the human being is to serve Krishna. Jivera Swarupa Haya Krishnera Nitya Dasa. This is the purport of Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan means Nitya or eternal, and Krishna Das means servant of Krishna. The eternal occupational duty of the human being is to serve Krishna. This is the sum and substance of Krishna consciousness movement. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, back to you.
Do you want to share what you learned from this verse? Or what's your reflection?
So what I learned is that the only that we are here just to serve Krishna. Krishna is the eternal one, and the reason we are here, well, this is what I get, that Krishna, we are here to serve Krishna. That is the only thing, just serving Krishna. That is it, I think. I don't know. Sorry, Prabhuji.
Yeah, that's the goal. When one understands that, then rest everything is a detail. So you understood the essence. That's wonderful, and you are doing it by chanting His holy name, by reading Bhagavatam, by serving. That's why Prabhupada has started this, or Lord Chaitanya has started in Prabhupada as a commander-in-chief for spreading Krishna consciousness. Because there are 4 pillars of dharma, right? 4 legs. Who knows the names of the 4 legs? Anyone knows? So there is one, cleanliness. Cleanliness is second, I believe. First is austerity. Austerity, cleanliness, then mercy or compassion, and the 4th is truthfulness. As the yuga passes, 1 legs get broken. The Trekata Yuga, as Prabhupada has mentioned, the religious duties are only 3/4. So 1 leg is broken. In Dwapara, 2 legs are broken, 2/4. In Kali Yuga, what happens? The religious principles are further deteriorated. Only 1/4 is present. So, therefore, there is a lot of need to spread Krishna consciousness. Because the Lord himself does so or sends his devotees to do so. The main purpose is to revive that eternal occupation duty, as Sampada Mataji said. That's a real goal. Jivara Swarupa Krishna Nityadas. I'm the servant of the Supreme Lord. Not just a temporary servant. I'm the eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. And that is the sum and substance of Krishna consciousness movement. To revive that duty. And how can we revive it? By first practicing it ourselves nicely, sincerely, seriously, and then by sharing to the best of our abilities through kirtan, through prasadam, through books, through inviting others for programs, through spreading, through financial contributions like cow protection, giving charity for temples, for brahmanas, for Vaishnavas, distributing food or prasadam. So many ways. Krishna consciousness is very, very variegated. There are unlimited ways to spread Krishna consciousness. We can use our mind, intelligence, buddhi, our skills which Krishna has given, serving devotees, serving holy names, serving temples, serving Prabhupada. That will help. And that is the only good thing in Kali Yuga. Because rest is an ocean of faults. Kali is an ocean, is a age of kalaha. Kalaha means quarrel and hypocrisy. Truthfulness, cleanliness is gone, mercy is gone, and austerity is gone. Little bit truthfulness is left, and that too also is going at very fast pace. Therefore, we have to revive the real truth, that is Satyam Satyam Priyam Satyam Hari Nama Eva Kevalam. There is only one truth, that is Krishna consciousness, the holy names. Any other comments, any additions, questions?
So, Prabhuji, the occasional duty is a synonym of constitutional duty?
Occupational duty?
Is a synonym for the constitutional duty?
Where is it used, Prabhu?
So, like, dharma means occupational duties. And at the end, Prabhu was telling that our occupational duty is to serve the Krishna. That actually we know that in Gita, Krishna said this is our constitutional duty.
Yes, so in this, we have to understand how Prabhupada is using those terms. So yes, in this we can certainly say that's our real dharma, that's our real thing to do, that's our constitutional duty, to serve Krishna, to serve Vaishnavas. But somewhere else we may see conditional duties and constitutional duties differently. But in this verse, certainly, that's our prime occupation. Dharma sunishtitapam sam vishwaksena kathasuya nautpadyad yadiratim shrama eva hi kevalam. The so-called dharma, I'm just muting you, Prabhu, there's a lot of echo. The so-called dharma, one may say, well, so-called dharma. My dharma is to be a warrior. My dharma is to be a kshatriya. My dharma is to be a farmer. My dharma is to be this. Those are my occupational duties. But what's the use of that occupational duty if it does not awaken love for Krishna? That's called shrama eva hi kevalam. So the real dharma, the real occupational duty, or the real constitutional duty is Krishna consciousness, or I am a servant of Krishna. And my very Priya Devi is mentioning that Prabhupada called dharma as occupational duty sometimes and constitutional duty. And there's also a book called Dharma, where Prabhupada explains that point in Canto 1 also. And basically the same verse which I just quoted, this comes in Canto 1, Chapter 2, Dharma Sunishtita Pumsam. What is real dharma? What is real constitutional or occupational duty?
Thank you, Guruji. Guruji, I have another things to clear out, that like after sunset, again sunrise. After sunrise, again sunset. So it looks like in Chaturjuga, every time from Satyuga to Kolikal comes, Dharma vanished out, again Satyuga established. So it will going to happen anyhow, right? We cannot stop that. It will degrade. So our job is to, as much as many souls along with us, to take to the back to the Godhead, but anyhow we cannot stop the Kali Yuga. It has to happen, and it has to degrade, and Kolkavata comes, and then Satyaj Yuga starts. We cannot know it, we cannot stop it. Am I right, Guruji?
Yeah, I mean, we cannot stop it. We don't have to try to stop it, but we certainly have to do our best, right? Like you are a doctor, correct? You are a doctor. Can you stop disease? Can you stop people getting disease? You cannot stop, right? People will get disease. But still, you have to do your best to prevent people from disease. And if someone is diseased, to help them to recover, right? Still disease will happen, still, but that's how, as a spiritual doctor, Prabhupada came to prevent the spread of disease, to give the real vaccination of Krishna consciousness, so more and more people can get it, and more people can take it, and more people can go back home and back to Godhead. So more and more people are situated in their eternal constitutional position and go back to home, so that they don't have to see this repeated cycle of birth and death. There will still be people who will not follow this dharma, and for them they will continue to suffer. And they're, it's very complex. So there are so many 8.4 million species. Majority of those, except for one or two, special cases, majority of those will keep taking birth in the repeated cycle of birth and death, as per their, evolutionary process. But human life is given, so in that we don't want to take birth again. So yes, Satyuga will happen again. Yes, Kali Yuga will come again. But we are born in that golden era. That's why it's called golden era. We're born in the golden era. We have to take benefit of that golden era by taking advantage of it. So
Thank you, Guruji.
anyone wants to add or share anything on that? Okay, let's move on to the next verse, text number 5. Okay, Jyoti Mataji, want to read, and then Taira Mataji can read after.
Sure, Prabhuji, thank you. Hare Krishna, Dandavat pranams to all the assembled devotees. Text 5. Tato dharma chatushpadam manavo harinoditaha yuktaha sancharayantyadha sve kale mahinpa. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charnaravinda Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thereafter, O King, the Manus, being fully engaged according to the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, directly re-established the principles of occupational duty in its full 4 parts. Purport: Dharma or occupational duty can be established in its full 4 parts as explained in Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita 4.1, the Lord says, Imam vivashvate yogam proktavan aham avyayam vivasvan manave praha manurikshvakave bravit. I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivasvan, and Vivasvan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. This is the process of disciplic succession. Following the same process, the Krishna consciousness movement is teaching the principles of Bhagavad Gita as it is, without deviation, all over the world. If the fortunate people of this time accept the instructions of Lord Krishna, they will certainly be happy in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted everyone, at least in India, to become a preacher of this mission. In other words, one should become a guru and preach the Lord's instructions all over the world for the peace and prosperity of humanity. Thank you, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Back to you.
Thank you, Mataji. I think it's so interesting. Anytime we have a question, Prabhupada's next purport or sometime next verse or the same purport answered it so nicely. Prabhu's question is so nicely answered here. That yes, you guys will keep coming. Lord will come or send his devotees to re-establish, but the Lord, it's not that he comes only in Manvantara avatar. He has come as Lord Chaitanya to re-establish that dharma, to re-establish the Yuga dharma. That is Sankirtana. We just read that word, Sankirtana Pitarau, the father of the Sankirtan movement. Who? Lord Chaitanya, Lord Gauranga, the 2 brothers. So, but Lord says in the Chaitanya Chaitamrita, well, I have a lot of seeds, but I can't distribute them to everyone. Of course, Lord is infinite, his activities are infinite, his Leela is infinite. He can do it, but still he wants to give the credit to his devotees. So he's asking all of us, especially the people born in India or Indian subcontinent, and actually we have discussed the whole world was called Bharata, to take this seriously. Why? To help in the mission of Lord Chaitanya, to become a gardener, to spread these seeds far and wide to different souls, so the different souls can take the seeds or receive the seeds of bhakti and in their heart, and the fruit of love of Godhead can grow. So that's the mission of Lord Chaitanya. So everyone should preach. And we have discussed preaching does not just mean giving class. Preaching means so many ways. Sharing kirtan, prasadam, books, or just inviting, or so many ways that there are. By one's good example, by being serious and sincere, by helping others, those who are doing so many ways, by deity worship, by inviting others for programs, by sharing prasadam. We have to be intelligent to how to help others by, and I just heard a very, very nice line from His Grace Chaitanya Prabhu. My wife was hearing this lectures and just happened to overhear. We don't have to change the message to appeal so it becomes appealing to the people, but we can certainly keep the message same but make it appealing. Without changing the core, make it appealing. In short, see how best we can share this message so that more and more people can take it. Like utility is the principle. The essence in sharing Krishna consciousness is how many people are getting transformed by hearing it or getting benefit out of it, right? So quite important, quite deep to reflect or ponder upon. Any other comments, any additions? Jyoti Mataji, want to say something, add something? Yes, please tell.
Hey Krishna Prabhuji. Mataji saying something?
Mataji, please go ahead. I'll share later.
Okay, Prabhuji, my question is that you said that we should do with the preaching and preaching in different ways. So what is the very basic step to make people realize their true self? Like we are how we said that Jivara Sarupa and Nitya Krishna Radas. So what is the very basic step for that?
It depends on their situation also, right? Like a doctor will diagnose the symptoms and give the medicine according to the symptoms of the patient. So if someone is already pious background, they understand that Bhagavad Gita is a good book. It tells about God. It's not some mundane knowledge. Then we can, if someone is already practicing some piety, some charity, like, or if someone is totally agnostic, has very there's no faith, then they'll not listen to anything. They'll say, okay, please take some laddu. I got laddu. I made laddu. And if they're too agnostic, we don't even have to tell that it's offered or God. Just give laddu. My mother made laddu, or I made laddu for you. Just take this laddu. They'll take it. The medicine is acting. The patient does not know the ingredients, but the doctor has intelligently given the medicine of laddu. So that will act. So it has to. Therefore, we need to be very, like expert doctors, and give the medicine based on the situation of the patient. But now, if someone is more pious, well, we have a Bhagavad Gita class. Would you like to join? We have a program where we do a lot of kirtan. Let's say someone likes music. Well, there's a nice kirtan program going on. There's so wonderful music, wonderful Krishna, and it's so divine. Why don't you join? So that's also preaching. They come, they hear the holy name. Well, some people may be interested in some other, like nowadays devotees are doing yoga classes and kirtan classes and Ayurvedic cooking classes. To Western people, these things, appeal more. And I have seen so many devotees becoming strong, initiated devotees. And if you ask them how you became Krishna, well, I joined the yoga class organized by X devotee. Oh, I joined the cooking class organized by Y devotee. So we have to see how we find the common ground and help them to uplift from their state. So it's not like one size fits all. One thing may fit for someone totally, and that's what Narad Muni also used. It's not that it's concocted. Narad Muni also applied the same thing. To the Mrigari, he said, why don't you fully kill these animals, right? Instead of half killing. Now that may sound very weird, but fully killing animals, right? But that was the situation where he was in. To uplift him from half killing to full killing is better than half killing because there is less torture. But the same Narad Muni, to Prachinibari, he told in the form of story, allegorical story. The same Narad Muni to Vyasadeva was very, very blunt. Hey, why you messed up everything? Why don't you write the pure glories of Krishna? So we have to also be intelligent in sharing Krishna consciousness. Sometimes through prasadam, sometimes through prayer, sometimes through indirect charity. Okay, these cows here need some help. Can you help? Some people like, here they like some animal protection. Well, if they serve cows, and that too the dham cows, so much mercy they will get. So I encourage devotees to do it. I have a wonderful friend, and just I'm recalling your example, how mercifully and so nicely you and your family members have been serving the cows, the abandoned cows in Radhakund. They're not just cows. First of all, they're cows, but they are dhamvasis also. They're rajvasis. So all your family members are getting indirect mercy, and your parents are getting indirect mercy because the family is engaged in that service. So sometimes it could be through cow protection, sometimes it could be through charity to the Vaishnavas, sometimes it could be offering, bhoga. So there is, unlimited ways. We don't have to change the message. The goal is, pure Krishna consciousness. But we have to see how much that person is able to receive. Right? In the first meeting, we will not talk about the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Right? We'll talk about the basics and then try to understand them and share as per the situation. Therefore, His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu says, preaching is fun, preaching is adventure. Preaching is the most dynamic thing because you meet 100 people or 10 people, all 10 will be different, like the fingers. One is fat, one is thin, one is long, one is short. Everyone will be different. There'll be a different, social perspective, different environmental perspective, different. You don't know where the conversation will go. It is so dynamic. It's so much fun. Someone will, chastise you. Hey, why, are you crazy? Someone will give you a donation out of nowhere. Someone will say, I want 20 books. Someone will say, get out of here. Therefore, preaching is fun. Preaching is dynamic and it's the most fun thing. We must try.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yes, Jyoti Mataji, please wanted to share something. Please unmute and speak.
Yes, Prabhuji. I was also thinking like you should not keep the preaching as preaching, but make it interesting for the people who are receiving. So that is the biggest challenge, especially when we present this to the kids. In the previous verse, you were talking about the 4 pillars of dharma. So there is an interesting rhyme which the kids learned in their Bhakti Sangha classes. So I wanted to share it with you, Prabhuji. So I have shared it on your WhatsApp.
Sure. Does your son or daughter want to recite that? Or you want to recite?
I have shared Shreya reciting that. Like it's a recording.
Oh, I see. Sure, I'll post with the other devotees as well. But
thank you, Prabhuji, and please bless them that they continue with interest. Because it's a big challenge now that they are here and we associate with lots of other people. So yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
we'll certainly pray that they become wonderful devotees of Krishna and they spread Krishna consciousness throughout the world. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think Tara is waiting to read, so please go ahead, Tara Mataji. Please read.
Okay, Prabhuji. Palayanti prajapala yavad antam vibhagashaha yajna bhago bhuje deva ye cha tatra vitaschatai. Translation. To enjoy the results of sacrifice, yajnas, the rulers of the world, namely the sons of grandsons of Manu, discharge and orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead until the end of Manu's reign. The demigods also shared the results of these sacrifices. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Purpose. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.2, Evam parampara praptam imam rajar sayo vidu. The supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. The parampara system extends from Manu to Ikshvaku and from Ikshvaku to his sons and grandsons, the rulers of the world in the line of hierarchy. Execute the peaceful life must participate in this parampara system and perform yajnas as Gadiya Vaishnavas. The word yajnae sankirtana prayer yajni hi sumedesha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in this age of Kali, and he will be easily satisfied if the Sankirtana movement is spread vigorously all over the world. This will also make people happy without any doubt. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So how will the Lord be happy? We have to please Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What we have to do? Who will tell? Anyone?
If we do Sankirtan every day,
Yes, he'll be easily satisfied if the Sankirtana movement, that means Krishna consciousness, is spread vigorously all over the world, not casually, not lazily, but seriously. That means we have to plan, we have to execute, we have to use our intelligence, we have to use our skills. Someone is good in singing, someone is good in playing instruments, someone is good in cooking. And recently there was a seminar by His Grace Visheshika Prabhu, which some of you attended. The Sankirtana movement is very dynamic. Everyone is involved. It's not that only two Prabhujis will go for Sankirtana. Someone can, help cook cookies so that the devotees can take cookies and distribute. Because people are waiting, when will the messengers of God Nityam come and say, hey, have a cookie. That's also Sankirtan. Because that's Krishna is non-different from prasadam. So the prasadam goes in and the seed of bhakti has gone in. Now the tree of devotion will certainly come. It's just a matter of time. So it's very dynamic. Some cannot go physically. They can help in, there are a lot of online ways to distribute books, to spread holy names. So many people do Facebook Live, Kirtan, YouTube Live. So many things are there. Spread the message. Someone will hear. Drop the seeds. Somewhere someone will find it. And there are unlimited examples on this group itself. So many people, so many devotees here. I have never met them physically. Right? Jyoti Mataji, I have never seen her physically. Sampada Mataji, Kashish Mataji, Swati Mataji, Lakshmi Mataji. I have never met them physically. Taira Mataji. But who else? Sandhya Mataji. I mean, I can go half of the people in this group. I have not met them physically. Aparna, my madam, Aparna Mataji, how did she get to know in the world? Like, we were not in touch. And these are like practical, real life examples. We were not in touch. I, passed out that school in 7th grade. She was my teacher before and my brother's teacher. And from 8th to 12th, I studied in a different school. She remained the same school. She's still teaching in the same school. And then there was absolutely, no connection. Just a matter of time. We lost the connection. But, how in the world the likelihood of us meeting again through this Sankirtana vibration. So I was like awestruck. Look at the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So many examples are there. Vijaya Mataji, I think Aparna, my madam, wants to share something. So we must try our best. The point here, I want to conclude that we must try, and Krishna will do unimaginable things to spread the holy names, to spread the message, reach out to more and more people. And that's what the Lord will be very, very happy. It's the easiest way to please Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. On the birthdays, what do you want to do? Let's say, your son's birthday, daughter's birthday, wife's birthday. You want to please them, right? You want to please them, yes or yes? Lord's birthday is coming, right? Nityam Prabhu's birthday coming in a few days. Aditya Charya's birthday, appearance day tomorrow, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's in about 5 weeks. You want to please them. How do we please them? By sharing this more and more, by being a good devotee and being a good sharer or share this message. My wife is also sharing that. How do me and my wife got connected? You may be surprised to know that the first day I saw her face was on the day of marriage. So face to face, I mean. But this is only by the mission of Lord Chaitanya. There's so many examples. Yes, Aparna Mataji, you want to say something, please?
Hare Krishna. If you have an urge, you will find somewhere and you will quench your thirst. I mean to say, you will have a sip of nectar if you have a urge to quench your soul thirst, isn't so?
Absolutely. And if we have the thirst for right thing, then Krishna will connect us to the right person. If we have a thirst for the so-called thing, then Krishna will connect us to the so-called devotee. So, yetamam prapadyante tam stataya bhajamyaham. So, very good point. Where there is a will, there is a way. You had that sincere thirst, so Krishna connected you to the Bhagavatam. Thank you. Yes, Manjula Alipia, you want to share something? Okay. Anything else before we stop? Okay, so a couple of announcements. Tomorrow is Sri Advaita Acharya's appearance day. Fasting is recommended, I believe, till noon. And on Friday, so tomorrow there will be special class by His Grace Chaitanya Prabhu, so we will not read Bhagavatam. On Friday, we will read Bhagavatam. Plus, we will also have the quiz for chapter 11 and 12. Okay, chapter 11 and 12, we'll have the quiz on Friday. So,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, I'm not having Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, so how can I just read?
You can read through online. There's a website called vedabase.io, which I'll post after the end of this class. So your mother, father, whoever helps you to get connected, they can help you to. And ask your parents if this is like an option too. You have all the access on the website, which you can do. And in case your parents are interested or your let me know. I can help to that you can have Krishna in the form of Bhagavatam at your home also, which is a very good thing to have.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for attending regularly. I see you want to come first in the quiz today or on Friday. That's a very good thing to have that spiritual hunger. Very good. Good. That means you will study nicely, not like me. Good. Okay, so we'll pause here. Dantra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Krishna.